Here we are for part 2 of this week's edition of Backpage Blues. I'm still fortunate enough to be joined by the Hurricane Skillen from the Mail Online, but I am feeling very lucky because I'm also joined by Miss Sophie Rose. How are you,
Hi
Soph?
everyone.
How are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thanks. I love that little intro you gave
Good. Sophie's been busy on a Skype chat, and she's joining us by Skype now, and I think she has a couple of questions that she'd like to ask us.
I do.
Sounds
indeed.
good.
Are you ready for them?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. So, great questions, guys, for those of you that did join the chat. Really fun speaking to you all. Okay, so number one, Peter asked, do you think Jose will buy a central attacking midfielder to challenge Oscar? Thoughts, boys?
I think Oscar could leave, actually. I'm sorry, Soph, I know you're a big fan.
No, because I thought that, Charlie, yeah?
Yeah?
And then I went online this morning, and apparently Joe said that he wouldn't sell him in the summer, and he thinks it's really nice that he'll have like the summer off.
Yeah, no, I mean, he hasn't had a summer off for a while. I mean, we've kind of mentioned that he's played loads of football before. If he leaves, I suspect Chelsea will buy a winger, and I actually think Willian will move into a central position.
It's a good shout. He's very good in that position, actually. He plays very well there for Brazil.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of real shuttle because he's got so much energy. He picks, that's why Mourinho loves him so much. That he picks up the ball from deep and runs
forward
with it. Yeah.
I don't think this will happen. I actually don't think that this will happen. I am really optimistic that Chelsea aren't going to sell Oscar. I think that Oscar on his day is pure silk and deserves a season where he's had a proper rest and can really just rejuvenate and hopefully display the form that he's capable of doing. And if he does that, he's one of the best attacking midfielders in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, he is a great player. I always kind of love watching him play in his prime. Yeah,
well,
definitely.
Charlie, I'm glad you're trying to recover from what you just said. Anyway, all right then. So the next question, Lucas has asked, would you? No, I think this is hilarious. No offense, Lucas. Would you like to see Pepe Reina as a backup for Courtois?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No, I wouldn't.
Has Lucas heard this somewhere? Does Lucas know something we don't? Where's this coming from?
No, I mean he's very obviously. No, he was a decent keeper from Liverpool, but he's very happy at Bayern Munich. He's Bayern Munich's sub keeper. I think Chelsea will probably buy a keeper to replace Petr Cech, who sadly probably won't be with us next year. But I suspect they'll look to fill a kind of homegrown.
It will be somebody like
a homegrown
Rob Green, John Ruddy, someone of that ilk.
Ruddy was a mention in the chat.
Was he?
So
nice. How did that Skype chat go, Soph?
Yeah, really well. Some really good, interesting feedback.
Lovely.
I let them know, Rory, that me and you were not in a relationship.
Oh, you're gutted.
Moving on. Okay, so then the last and final question is Ahmed says, are we going to have 4 strikers next season, which I actually think would probably be a good idea considering we always get injuries?
4? I suppose we will if we include a youth player in it. I think we'll have 3 players competing for the number 9 position, with Diego Costa obviously leading the charge, and then there'll be a youth player in and around about the first team squad who will probably not really get a look in, but will be learning because he'll be socialising with players of Diego Costa's quality. Yeah,
in fact, I think you're absolutely bang on. I think the 4 will be Costa, Loic Remy, Falcao, and
somebody like
Dom Solanke. Dom Solanke, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
It would be nice if we had something coming through, I think, anyway.
Yeah, and it's looking like it could happen now that they're European champions.
Lovely. Right, I know. We're just so amazing. Right, anyway, well, thanks so much.
Somebody's trying to interrupt you, Soph.
I don't know who it is.
It's Leonardo Porras. Sorry, Leonardo. Bad timing.
It's JT.
Sophie, it's gone crazy. Are you up to anything now? What are your plans?
I'm now going to go shopping.
Sounds good.
It's been lovely to see you all. And I'm sorry I've been a bit distant lately. I've been on holiday and catching up with some other stuff.
Always
hard
on
life,
holiday.
innit?
Always
hard
on
life.
I don't know if you lot know, but shopping for a girl when you actually need something is very difficult. So I'll be going to do that now. But yeah, lovely to see you all. And
you too,
I'll
Soph.
see you all very soon.
Thank you very much. Lovely to hear from you.
Cheers,
see you
Soph.
soon.
Later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right, I suppose you should move on now to more Backpage Blues with the usual format, which is the YouTube questions. Would you like to go first?
Yeah, Tom Rose has posted, said, my mate at work tells me Bilic wants Remy for West Ham. surely he wouldn't go to them.
I'm almost certain that Bilic would love Remy for West Ham.
Yeah.
Like, I'm almost certain that any manager would love Remy for their club. He's a fantastic striker and one of the most natural goal scorers I've ever had the privilege of seeing play football. I think that he's the most natural goal scorer that you've had at the club since Jimmy Ford has Spank. I really
big shout
do.
from you.
Most natural. Not necessarily the best striker, not necessarily the best lots of things, but in terms of just putting the ball into the back of the net, I haven't seen a player do that with such efficiency since JFH.
Interesting.
But no, he won't go to. I mean, it may well happen, but I'd be amazed. I think that he has got Champions League football written all over him, and I'd be very surprised to see him take the plunge somewhere like West Ham.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very disappointed if Remy left. I think he's done amazingly when he's come in, and I think he probably should have had more chances.
Well, he scored every time he played.
Yeah,
he deserved more.
Exactly.
If football's a meritocracy, then he should be playing every week.
Yeah, no, I really hope he stays. But having said that, his mate at work is probably reason man online because this interest is real.
Really?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed it doesn't happen. Moving on quickly, Barry Lee Punch is your question, Barry. Who is the most underrated player in Chelsea history?
Ooh, well, there's so many throughout history. Obviously, Pete Houseman was kind of the unsung hero of the 70s team. And then obviously you have people like John Bumstead, and then from when we were growing up, maybe someone like Frank Sinclair or Eddie Newton used to do a great job in midfield. I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball. I think he only played here for one season. I don't think at the time people appreciated what Didier Deschamps did for Chelsea.
I agree.
He did. It was kind of like a pre-Makelele before we saw Makelele play. And if you actually look through the seasons, Dennis Wise's best season.
Yeah, where he scored loads of goals.
Was when he was playing next to Deschamps because he had that license to go forward.
It was that year where we did really well in Europe.
We did. I mean,
we did really well in Europe. Was when Dennis Wise it was the year when Dennis Wise scored more goals than he scored.
Well, exactly. He had that license to go forward, and it was a bit like kind of precursor to Makelele and Lampard. So I'm going to say Deschamps.
I think that's a really good shout. Probably the best shout. Actually, I can't think of a better option. But I think somebody else who has, since finishing playing football, I think we've looked back on really fondly. But I remember going to the games at Stamford Bridge and people weren't loving him the way that he deserved to be loved, and that was Michael Ballack. I think at the time people didn't appreciate his brilliance.
I mean, he was
I think now people look back, people realise when he left, we realised the massive hole that was left, and how people were just like penetrating our midfield without any effort. Whereas when he was there, that just didn't happen.
We certainly got rid of him a year too early. At least he was, one of those players that we talk about where they've been incredible players throughout their whole careers, and it was a privilege to kind of see them in a Chelsea shirt for that kind of
definitely. I make you right there. I think Deschamps is a great shout.
Next one is from a guy called Ben Heels. Cheers, Ben. He met Piazon in Kingston. Apparently he's a top bloke. I didn't know that. I never met him. But he wants to know, has he got a future with the club? Lucas Piazon.
I'm going to let you answer this one, Charlie. I think we have. I don't think so, but you're far more clued up than I am on this front.
Unfortunately, I don't think so either. I think I've seen him play quite a few times. He is a talented player. He's big mates with all the kind of the Brazil lads.
He's got a touch of the Oscar about him actually in his performance. Kaká, I used to think, but it never quite happened. Being very generous to Piazon.
Very generous. He's very quick. He's good with technique, and he's performed well kind of in whichever kind of loan spell we've dished him out to. But I just think he's in that generation that's kind of missed it now. I think we're now looking to people like Izzy Brown and Dom Solanke to fill the kind of youth roles in the squad. Unfortunately for Piazon,
it's just that the standard at Chelsea now is so high. It's not that you have to be the best in your generation or the best at the club. It's that you have to be the best in the world.
Exactly.
And I don't think Piazon is quite that. Sadly, but good luck to him wherever he ends up. And I suppose we should be wrapping up. But quickly, last question. Albert 5522. How are you? He says, do we sometimes miss the days when we had players like Gianfranco Zola and a manager like Claudio Ranieri, when other fans loved Chelsea and loved for everything Chelsea stood for?
I'd like to know which other fans Albert was talking to. Because everyone I know that doesn't support Chelsea has hated Chelsea since they were born.
Albert's second part of this question says, whereas more or less now other fans hate us because of Roman and Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
That has never been different. I can assure you, I grew up pre-Roman and pre-Jose Mourinho, and nobody liked us ever. We've always been one of the most hated football clubs in the country.
To borrow a phrase from another club, no one likes us, we don't care.
No, certainly don't. I care, I like it. I enjoy it. But no, certainly we've never been looked on fondly. We've never been the Barcelona of Europe. I mean, I've got no time for Barcelona, but people seem to love this brand of football and brand of club that Barcelona. Chelsea have never been that. We've been hated throughout our entire existence.
And what fun it's been.
And long may it continue.
Yeah, what fun it's been.
I hope we've gone some way to answering your questions, and thank you very much for getting them in. We really do enjoy these segments, so please comment below, get more questions in, and we will do our best to answer them next week. Thanks for watching. Go on the Champions. This is something that fills me with fear because we know that Mo Salah is an incredibly gifted football player. We've seen him destroy Chelsea in the past.